They live in a world so secretive, so secluded, that one of our guests today flew on an airplane for the first time in her life just to get here. And it's a first for the Dr. Phil Show, too, because in our 13 seasons, we have never had any Amish visitors on this set. But today, that's about to change. Now, when you think of Amish people, it may bring to mind bonnets, buggies, beards, baking, and butter. But lately, the Amish world has been making headlines with shows like Amish Mafia that reportedly blow the cover off their once sequestered world. Now, we're about to meet some Amish people who are not as friendly as the images you may remember. Images like these. Take a look.
The typical Amish person is supposed to reflect the love of God, sacrifice, humbleness, submissiveness. The Amish men will wear a hat, will have your typical bowl haircut. You'll see the snaps here. We're not allowed to have the buttons on this. The way I grew up, we did have running water. We did have a toilet. We had the gas lamps, but we had no electricity, and I had no TV.
Ever since I was 6 years old, I had to go feed calves before I go to school. And that's what the Amish are taught. They gotta grow up working, get married, raise a family.
You start driving a buggy probably when you're 9, 10 years old. When you have to go to the doctor, you have to drive at least 10 to 15 miles. You can expect anywhere from 45 minutes to a 2-hour buggy ride. Amish are not allowed to be doctors. You can't go to high school or college. The Amish community, we have our lifestyle the way that it is. We don't reveal everything to the public because we really want, people from the outside to know everything about it. You guys do firsthand in South Bus. Do experience, I love it here. The people are great and we take care of each other. We have each other's back here.
But while the Amish attempt to live a simple life with no technology, as I said earlier, even they can't escape making headline news.
Amish communities across eastern Ohio are on alert. The man labeled as the Amish Bernie Madoff will be spending the next 6.5 years behind bars. Monroe Beachy swindled nearly 2,700 investors out of nearly $17 million.
Did you do anything wrong?
Sorry, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Developments in the kidnapping of 2 Amish girls in upstate New York. The sisters were sexually assaulted.
Alan Byler stars on the Discovery show Amish Mafia. In all, he's charged with more than 30 violations, including a felony, drug possession, eluding police, and driving without a license.
It's a story that's gaining national attention. The man police believe may be behind attacks on other Amish.
It's all religion.
Renegade Bishop Sam Mullet denies it, but victims tell Channel 3 he is behind at least a half dozen home invasions in the last 2 weeks. Male victims had their beards cut off. Women had their hair cut. Victims tell Channel 3 News the group is going crazy. Their minds are messed up bad. In Middlefield, a member of the Miller family was attacked by his own children. This is a problem for sheriff's investigators because the Amish are not reaching out for help.
One of my guests, Levi, claims he's lifting the lid on the Amish community in his new book, Amish Confidential. Now, you may recognize this hat-wearing so-called mobster from the hit show Amish Mafia. Now, Levi's archenemy Merlin says he is giving the Amish people a bad name and that Levi is nothing but a money-hungry Amish playboy. Now, today, in an exclusive interview, the two are facing off for the first time. Take a look.
So, lady, first Amish off with Levi.
You're sticking your nose in my business. I mean, they're just going down with you to protect it. Let that guilt fool, huh?
Even though the Amish Mafia is a reality TV show, my issues with Levi are real. He wants to come across as he's saving the Amish, when in reality, he's saving himself so he can make a buck.
Merlin's a hypocrite. He wants to do everything I do. When I got my attorney, he wants my attorney. He found out I'm writing a book, so he wanted to write a book. He talked to my co-writer. He's just jealous, and that's why he's so and he has no time to take care of himself.
Levi is a poser. Like, he's the most important person in the Amish community. He is the expert of the Amish by writing this book. Levi is very self-serving.
Merlin's just a little piece of garbage. The book is not about the money. I wrote the book to tell the secret of the Amish life. Everybody has questions, and they always get the wrong answers from the non-Amish tour business.
Levi is going against our Amish beliefs by writing a tell-all book, giving all our secrets out there.
It would help if everybody listens to what I'm saying. I hope Dr. Phil can help Merlin and straighten his ass out. It's hurting other people because his mind is just crazy.
I'm going to call Levi out on his Levi wrote this book because he's driven by money, and Levi is going against the Amish way by being greedy and money hungry.
Okay, so you two aren't fans of one another.
It appears that way.
It would appear so. You think that this book that he's written, Amish Confidential, which I have read, by the way, you think this is a bad idea?
Well, there's a lot of things in there that could really affect the Amish community.
In what way?
In a way where telling a community secrets and bringing out things that we have kept for traditions for many years and just putting it out there in a book.
I don't see no difference. Me writing a book or you going on the show and exposing the Amish, there's no difference, so you have nothing to say. Don't worry about the
On
book.
what show?
On the Amish Mafia show, he talks how the Amish live and how they act, so what's the difference?
Have you been on that show?
Yes, I'm on the Amish Mafia
Yeah,
show.
he worked his way in the show like about the third season after we filmed because he got jealous like the book. He's just
I was
jealous
on the
I
first
do.
season.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. I'm just glad that I had the opportunity to show what Amish life is really like.
What did I just tell you?
What?
He said he's glad to tell the people what the Amish people really like. Well, why can't I put it in the book?
What I'm saying, is your book really about the Amish, or is it about you?
Did you read it?
Yes, I did,
Then
but I
what
didn't
does
get a
it say?
copy from you. I had to get a copy from Dr.
Why
Phil's
would I give you a
people.
copy?
You said you wrote this book because one of the things you don't like is that people make money off of the Amish community, that there's a multi-million-dollar tourism industry of people coming to see the Amish community, but the Amish don't make money off of it. The non-Amish make money off of it. Do the Amish make money off this book, or do you make money off this book?
I make money off the book. I wrote it, but I don't make that much money off of it.
But the Amish don't make money off this book. You do.
I can give back to the community,
But
yes.
do you?
I give to the Amish Aid. I pay to the Amish Aid. I pay where Amish needs help, and I spend that money on that.
I don't buy it.
No, you didn't buy it. Somebody gave you the book.
Dr. Phil's people bought it for me so I can read it.
You've talked about Amish Aid. What is Amish Aid?
Amish Aid is where we take care of our own monies, like insurance, help. Say if you're sick or you have doctor bill, hospital bills, fires.
You think he steals money from Amish Aid?
I really believe so.
You're gonna sit here and lie all day or what?
I think that Levi has his hands in a lot of pockets where they don't need to be. I don't have proof that he's stealing, but I think that there's a lot of things that he's trying to do that are taking money from the Amish ultimately in the end.
Do y'all have buggy races?
Yes, it is.
Do you think he's rigging those?
Yes. I know he's rigging them.
How do you rig a bug? Well, okay, take a look at this.
From my experience with Levi, he is not someone that I trust. We had a buggy race. I'm guessing we're going about 15 miles an hour. I had a very good horse, and it looked pretty good for me. Ended up, Levi rigged the race so he could win. He knows that that money's supposed to go to charity. And I think that Levi kept the money for himself. Levi is greedy and money hungry.
I'm just smarter. I'm not money hungry.
How did he rig the race?
He brought in a buggy on an automobile frame. How am I going to compete with that horse and buggy with a buggy that's been set up on a car chassis? I can't compete with that, right? That's rigged.
We didn't even race with the car chassis, so what are you talking about?
Well, you won, right?
It was a car show and a buggy show. It was a Pimp My Buggy. It wasn't a race. So I won the buggy show, yeah, of course. I got a buggy with a motor on it. That's pimping it, ain't it?
Boy, I'm all confused. Coming up, we'll meet an Amish woman who took her very first plane ride so she could reveal what she says is one of the most alarming secrets of her community. We'll be right back.
The way it works in the Amish, the men have all the power.
You stay at home, you listen to the husband, you shut up, you're the chief cook and bottle washer.
I do all the cooking in here with the stove. It's heated with wood. It's my life.
Levi loves the attention. He loves to be idolized. Levi does do promotional appearances for money, and I have never done that. He's taken this Amish hat and putting an autograph on it. That's selling our religion. He's creating false idols about the Amish, and there's people that I have heard come up to Levi and basically almost worship him. I think at the end of the day, Levi's #1 goal is to become the first Amish movie star.
You might recognize my guest from the hit show Amish Mafia. Now, Merlin accuses Levi of living an inauthentic Amish lifestyle, but Levi says if that's the truth, then Merlin is just as guilty. Take a look.
I'm from the Ohio Amish. Lebanon Levi is from the Lancaster Amish.
We're in my hometown. Mostly Amish and Mennonites farm around here, and I grew up in this area. I was born and raised Amish. I'm not baptized in the Amish church. I'm baptized in New Order Amish. If you're baptized, then you can't drive a car. Anything modern you have, you'll get shunned. Just because I'm not baptized in the Amish church, so that means I can drive. I can have electricity, I can watch TV, I can do whatever I want. Even though Merlin says I don't follow the Amish ways, Merlin's not baptized either, so Merlin can do whatever he wants as well. I believe that actions speak louder than words. I think I'm not more Amish, but just more traditional Amish. On a typical day, I have to go out early in the morning and feed the animals. I like to go up the ladder here, inspect my crop. We have chosen different paths in life, and Levi has chosen the path of easy money, easy things. I want Merlin to leave me alone and just let me live my life. Mind your own business.
How can you drive cars and be Amish? Because I understand there's a distinction about whether you've been baptized or not.
There's, I would say probably 30, 40 years ago, there was barely no cars in the Amish community. As years progress, more younger kids get cars, but you're not doing it against the church because you're not baptized. So when you turn 16, 17, 18, whatever, until you get married or get baptized, some drive cars. Maybe 25 or 30% of the Amish youth drive cars anymore.
Because you're not baptized, it's okay to drive a car. It's not against the church.
Yeah.
You would not be shunned for that.
Right.
There are parts in this book that are not flattering to the Amish. He says it is often a society of humiliation and fear.
There is fear, there is humiliation in the Amish community, but we are taught that so we don't get a vain heart and that we stay to our roots.
Well, Merlin isn't the only person suspicious of Levi's motives. Merlin's friend Dina got on a plane yesterday for the very first time so she could join the show and deliver a message to Levi. Let's hear from her.
I believe Levi is doing a lot of hurt in the Amish community by exploiting the problem and not trying to fix them. In Levi's book, he did bring out that the Amish women are sheltered, but why does he still keep his women amongst the Amish? He says it in the book that he doesn't agree with it, but he's still controlling them. They can't do anything about it because they're women.
The role of an Amish woman can be very controlling. They don't really have a say-so. If they do, they get looked down upon. I do all the cooking in here with the stove, and it's heated with wood. It's my life.
You stay at home, you listen to the husband, you shut up, you're the chief cook and bottle washer.
The way it works in the Amish, the men have all the power. There are untold numbers of sex crimes with the women and children. When that sexual crimes happen, the bishop finds out and then they just confess in church. They might be shunned for 2 weeks and then they are forgiven, and that's how they get away with it. There's one guy, he was having sex with animals. He confessed over and over, and it just kept happening. Levi talked about helping the Amish, but I don't really see him doing much. I think he sits on his ass.
Well, Dina, thank you for being here. How do you feel about being here?
I'm honored to be here.
And you live where?
Ohio, Holmes County, Ohio.
Okay, and you live on a farm?
Not at the moment. I
Yeah.
grew up on a farm.
You grew up on a farm? And you've been shunned by your religion?
Yes.
And what did you do to be shunned?
I disagreed in shunning my brother. He got shunned by just telling the bishop that he does not agree with how they use the shunning. So he got shunned, and then he came to visit, and I didn't shun him because I agreed with him.
Okay, so he was shunned because he disagreed with the bishop. And when he came to see you, you didn't shun
We
him.
ate with them,
Oh,
him
you-
and his wife. We ate with them.
You allowed them to break bread with you.
Right. And we got caught.
And that's not okay.
No.
And you're not allowed to worship with the,
Right.
you can't enter the church and worship with the church.
Right.
And how do you feel about that?
I don't feel like it keeps me out of heaven. I know the truth. It just hurts me that I can't see the family.
Because they can't interact with you or they would be shunned.
Right.
When you're shunned, like she was
Yeah,
saying,
right,
you can't eat at the same
listen.
table. When the person that's a member with the Amish church can't eat at the same table as the person that's shunned. And you can get in trouble with that. You can also get shunned if you do. Or you can't drive with that person that's shunned. You can't, that person that's shunned, you got to set it down. And then the person that's a member got to pick it up. You can't take it off their hand. And that's basically what she was,
But-
that's how harsh the shunning is.
Coming up, who on this stage has been arrested before? You might be surprised. It's not me, but we'll be right back. Levi says he could be the greatest Amish man walking on earth. But is Levi the biggest threat to the Amish community? He says no way. The Amish are a threat to themselves if their criminal conduct continues.
All the Amish want to keep the Amish hidden. They don't want outsiders coming to know what's going on. But the Amish have been arrested just like anybody else. For drugs, alcohol, child molesting. Very few went to jail for molesting because the Amish believe in taking you to counseling and in forgiveness. That's why it's so easy to molest your daughters or anybody else's girl. I've been arrested. I have 2 DUIs.
I have been arrested for marijuana. I have 2 fourth-degree felonies for trafficking in marijuana.
Merlin is not a clean guy. Merlin's really bad as a gossip. You gossip so much because you have problems yourself and you're trying to uncover your own problems and make yourself look good. Merlin is just saying that I showing the wrong side of the Amish, and I'm not. I'm showing the right side of the Amish. Merlin is the one who's the bad guy.
Okay, so you're a couple of thugs. Okay, so you don't trust him, right?
Not really. I can't trust him. I feel like he's one of those Amish guys that
You don't come in
controls
my
their
area.
women. Let me talk.
You don't come in my area and do that. Stay in your area. You have no rights to come in Lancaster County.
See?
This is very troubling to me. You say that depression among Amish women is rampant. Why is that?
I believe it's because they have no voice. They can't tell anybody what's going on. And then again, they're supposed to have all the babies they can have, and being pregnant or nursing all the time is depressing too.
You say in the Amish community, women are regarded as birthing animals.
That's rude.
In the Sergeant Trooper community, yes.
Well, then stay out of Lancaster County and talk about Sergeant Trooper.
I didn't say this is your area. I was talking about
He's asking about the Amish. He didn't ask about just
But he asked me about my people.
You also say that molestation of children is rampant in the Amish communities, not just yours, and you're not the only one that has reported that. I don't think you deny that either, correct? What do you say about that? What happens? This is a crime. What happens?
Yeah, the girls get told to shut up about it, even if the mother finds out. She most likely asks them well, was it your fault? What did you do that this happened to you?
Right.
And then they get told to just hush about it, and the guy maybe gets shunned for a couple weeks, and then he's supposed to have repented, so they take him back in the church and forgive him and move on. And that has to stop. I believe the law needs to step in and arrest those guys and give the girls counseling.
Do you all agree that this is going on? Because you say
Yeah.
men are raping babies and the church is forgiving them.
No, I never heard
No,
of
that's
that.
what you say.
Little girls,
Levi,
not necessarily
What's little girls or
infants.
babies? There's two different.
3 years old,
I know an Amish bishop.
that's a baby.
Yeah, I know an Amish bishop right now who's in prison.
I'm not standing by their side. Don't holler.
I'm
I'm
not
just saying.
saying
I
it's
never heard
Pennsylvania,
that young. So okay.
but it's-
fine.
How young have you heard?
Like 10 and 5, anywhere from 5 to 10.
They're babies.
It goes on. I don't know. The law is stepping in. They go counseling. The Amish believe shunning them and take them to counseling. In our area we do. Of course, their area. In our area we do counseling.
That,
they have
that
to send
has
them
to
counseling.
stop. They need to be.
And then the last time this happened, it was in my neighborhood, and the law stepped in. The judge said, you know, this is coming out too much, that we're going to start stepping in. And I said, I think it's. I wasn't there, but I was telling people, you know, that's what they should do. You do it. You might as well go to jail. I don't care what religion you're in, so I don't believe in it. And nobody should, of course not. But
I know a
like the
couple.
Amish, they just kind of push you under the rug. They'll send you to counseling for. He went to Kentucky for like 2 months, and he comes back, and I think it made his head even worse. And he was a preacher, the guy that did it to his own daughters.
You say that children are harshly disciplined.
There's one little boy. They tied him up, drug him behind a buggy.
Children are harshly disciplined. In what way?
Physically,
Uh-huh.
if they don't listen to the parents or if they lie to them, they get a harsh beating. There's one little boy. He got drugged behind a buggy. They tied him up, drug him behind a buggy for.
He didn't drop the firewood.
He still has scars of it.
What do you Amish men have to say about this going on in your community?
I don't know, to be honest. Since they're talking about short-term troopers, I don't know. I know Lancaster County, they're not that harsh on their kids. I know I had a leather strap on my butt because I cheated in school, but I deserved it. But you don't deserve to get beat up, but I never heard anything that harsh in Lancaster County that I know of. I mean, I know some are very strict because they want you to listen and they want you to respect. And
Come on, you wanted a platform, you wanted a voice, so you got a platform and a voice. Step up and use it.
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, the Amish are. We got to talk about the good too. But yes, they are harsh. They are. But I got spanked. But some don't. Not everybody is like that.
I'm not saying everybody's like that. If anybody's like that and you wanted a voice and you wanted a platform, then you need to man up and use it.
Well, you're right. I agree with that. But if I don't know about it, I don't know what to do about it. But like I said, in my community, it's not that bad.
You didn't come ask. You don't go around finding things out like that and helping people, do you? Have you ever thought of how you can help people like that?
I have talked to a lot of people where I didn't help them. You don't know what I do. You two think you know everything I do. You don't. I'm just a money-hungry guy, ain't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you think. I don't have to show off what I do. God sees what I do. And I'm not agreeing with his beat up. I definitely don't agree with it. I hate it. But my family never went through that because we loved each other. Even we got spanked. But I'm not. But don't make it sound like every family does that.
I got spanked too, and I don't think my parents misused it. But I'm just saying, we need to help those that do
I'm not
get
saying
bruised.
I'm not. I'm not saying not to. You're right.
You know, I support Dina, and I encourage her with this with my whole heart. But for example, what you're witnessing right here is how it can happen a lot in the Amish community. When an Amish woman wants to speak, the man is there right away. Shut your mouth. You're wrong. You're trying to make everybody look like this.
Yeah, I feel like you don't let anybody tell you anything.
You're telling me, you just got done telling him how I'm exposing the Amish the wrong way, and I shouldn't say this and that, but then you're just totally running in the dirt right now. You're right, you can tell what's happening, that's right. But don't make it sound like every person's that way, because it's not. There's some loving Amish out there.
Exactly, there are.
Well then, don't make it sound like I'm so bad, everything's so bad.
I'm not, Levi, but what I'm trying
You just got done saying it!
What I'm trying to point out is the way that you're responding to Dina, that element of disrespect is what a lot of the Amish women go through, and by controlling and yelling at them.
And then you said about the men.
What did I say about the men?
What did you say?
Now you can't repeat it?
You said the men don't let him speak, and the men are so horrible, this and that. They're not all that way.
Not all, no, but I'm...
Well, then say that.
The way you come across, you might be.
Do what you want.
Merlin says there's only one reason he agreed to do the show today. We'll hear why when we come back. Plus, he and Dina have some questions of their own for Levi. We'll be right back.
Growing up, my mom was a real advocate for me not to watch television. I got to see Dr. Phil as a kid when I went to the doctor with my mother. But what touched my heart and sowed a seed into me about Dr. Phil to this day was that he talked about God and that he had a relationship with him.
You need to put your trust and faith back in a higher power, whatever you call. I mean, I call it God.
It doesn't matter to me if I'm Amish or not, and he's not Amish, he's my brother in Christ. With Dr. Phil, there's a legitimacy there and a realness that some daytime talk shows might not have.
Well, today in an exclusive interview, Levi, Merlin, and Dina from the hit show Amish Mafia are facing off. Now, Merlin and Dina accuse Levi of spilling secrets and exploiting the Amish in his new book titled Amish Confidential. Now, Levi says he just wants to shed light on all issues in the Amish community, good or bad. And if anyone's going to profit from telling Amish stories, it should be the Amish. And you're Amish, so you would be profiting from it.
I can make a profit off of it, of course. I'd spend time doing it.
Right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. You are objecting. You got really animated, started yelling that she's making it sound like everybody does these horrible things. All the Amish do these horrible things. I didn't hear her say everybody does that. I heard her say that it happens in the community and is not dealt with. It's not punished. It's not handled in a way that would suppress the behavior. That's what I heard her say. But you seem really defensive about it. I'm wondering why.
I'm not defensive. And the way you said it, it's not the way I understood her. She said the Amish. She didn't just say necessarily the Amish, some Amish. She said the Amish. And I took it as she's talking about all the Amish. But I'm just saying, let's not just talk about all the bad. We can. That's why I wrote the book. But there's a lot good, too. I mean, you gotta let the people know and the audience know how good we are too, not just all the bad stuff.
Well, it's interesting because Merlin says you're the one that's inviting judgment of the Amish community by disclosing what he calls ancient secrets in your book, correct? That's what you say.
They just told ancient secrets. They just told stuff that goes on.
Well,
and the Amish wouldn't want us to, but I want to. It's time to speak out. It's time to people that are allowed to know about this, because I think some of the Amish need to sit back and say, like, wow, we really are doing wrong. And I think that's why I wrote the book. It is time. That's why you said I'm not helping. I'm trying to help the Amish, and I'm trying to help people to step in and read this book and understand what goes on, so the people come and so the Amish sit back a little bit. I'm tired of saying you don't do this, you don't do that. What more do you want me to do?
Well, one thing, I heard you have an English girlfriend and a baby.
A baby's a gift from God. You can't throw a baby away.
Explain that to me.
Slept with a producer and got her stoned and got her fired at the same time. What's the difference?
Are you supposed to be with an English girl?
What?
Yeah, I can be with an English girl. I'm not baptized in the Amish church. I can be with an English girl, of course.
But you're Amish.
I live 2 different lives.
Oh.
You do too. You don't dress like this every day.
Well, now, wait a minute.
You don't dress like this every day.
When you said slept with... Hold on. When you said slept with a producer, you're not talking about one of mine.
Oh, you better watch it.
Right? Let's be clear. You didn't sleep with one of my producers.
I'm looking forward to clear that myth up, too, but...
Yeah, okay, but you didn't sleep with one of my producers. Let's clear that one up
I
right
didn't
quick.
sleep with any producer.
Okay,
Yeah, you did.
including mine. Okay.
That's the first lie you said up here.
Do you have an English wife or girlfriend?
I have an English girlfriend. Merlin did too. What's the difference?
Well, I'm not asking about Merlin. I'm asking about you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, I do, and I have a baby that's 11 months old, and I love her, and I'm glad I have her, even though I'm not married. It's a little hard for my parents, but...
Well, congratulations on your baby. But so you have a baby out of wedlock. How does that go with the new? Is it the New Order Amish Church?
Yeah, they don't believe in that either.
So you kind of pick and choose.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. What about your hat?
I can take my hat off.
Does it make you money?
Why do you wear a hat? You don't wear a hat every time.
You wanted to talk about why Levi talks about hating wearing his Amish hat and couldn't wait to get rid of it during Rumspringa?
Yeah.
What's that
the one
question?
question I had, I found it interesting in the book where it talks about from 2 to 16 years old, you had to wear the Amish hat, and that how much you despised, how much you hated that hat, and you were so excited when Rumspringa came that you wouldn't have to wear it anymore. So I was just curious why you're wearing that hat now.
For people that hang on. For people that haven't read the book, Rumspringa, you talk about from like 16 to 22. This is a time when Amish parents kind of look the other way.
No, it's not like that. No, I explained in the book different.
Yes, you
That's
do.
what the world. No, they don't look the other way.
I
no,
think
they don't.
you said that.
I explained it there. When you turn 16, the outside people think they hear that you can go live in an evil life or live however you want. You're supposed to get to a group. There's a bunch of different youth groups, and there's from 16 until they get married. And you're supposed to find a wife, get married, and raise a family. You're not allowed to go out, party, drive a car. That's against your choice and against your parents' will, but it happens. But that's not what Rumspringa is all about. You can just go and do it. It's not. You're supposed to get a group, and then every weekend they hang out. And Sundays they have like a dinner together, then evenings they sing the Christian hymns, and then they go home. You're supposed to find a girlfriend, play games, and, you know, play a lot of volleyball is a lot in the Amish community. But it's not about going out there and sow your wild oats and then come back. It's not about that. You can do it, but it's against your parents' will. It's your choice.
What about your hat?
That doesn't matter. That must be Schwarzentrooper. If they wanted to worry about their hat, it's Lancaster County. I can take my hat off. Ain't that what they were talking about? Is there a lifestyle in Schwarzentrooper? Lancaster here.
What was your question about the hat?
Why does he wear it now?
Because that's how Lancaster does.
No.
Does it make you money?
It has nothing to do with money. Hat every time.
You might be surprised.
No, you don't. I saw you without a hat many a time. So no, you don't wear a hat. There you go again. You're not going to get ahead because you do the same damn thing. Excuse my language.
Oh, there's a lot to excuse with you. Should there be more policing of the Amish, or should they just be left alone? We're going to talk about that when we come back. Well, I'm back with Levi, Merlin, and Dina. What's your goal in writing this book? What do you hope happens if this book is widely read?
I want the people to understand exactly what goes on in the Amish. For when you go to the tours in Lancaster County, they tell you a lot of stuff, and they even tell you the Amish don't pay taxes. They do. They don't pay Social Security because they don't believe in collecting from the world. That's why there's Amish Aid. They have their own insurance. They don't believe in collecting from outside insurance. And
so you want to do some myth busting?
Pretty much. But I want to tell the people, I want to make them understand more what goes on and help them, but maybe encourage a little bit, and then maybe when they read the book, kind of feel a little bit of the Amish lifestyle and understand more. We're all humans, we're all the same, but it's just because they have all these rules in the church where they're so closely committed that you can't expose nothing because they don't want the media in. They don't want it to be on the news. They don't want nothing around because they don't want people outside to come in and find out what goes on.
Right. Do you think this book's a bad deal?
I think that the book has truth in it. I think the book...
It's 100% true in the book.
Let me finish. I think the book talks about things that are very disrespectful to our Amish elders.
Community. If they don't want to do it, then don't do it.
Listen, in the book it talks about our Amish elders and where we come from and some of the things that are very sacred to us. Our forefathers were martyred for their beliefs over in where we come from in France and Germany. And just to go write a book, it's like, blah, you know, that's how us Amish are, and I hope you feel better about us.
I just feel you're a little jealous because you do the same thing on the TV show. You expose you can on the TV shows. You have no right to talk. Not at all.
All right, let me ask you, at this point, you hope that there's some modification of the way women and children are treated in the Amish community. Mm-hmm. And, you know, maybe what we've talked about today will bring a light onto that and will be an agent for change in bringing that about. We've got to stop. We're out of time. Special thanks to my guest today. I do want to acknowledge it was very courageous for Dina to come forward today and share her knowledge from a female perspective. Levi's book, Amish Confidential, is available now, and everyone in the audience is going to go home with a copy. So if you want to enter to win your own copy, go to drphil.com for more details. We'll see you next time. Merlin, thank you so much. Levi, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. First received a very compelling email from 21-year-old Christina about her father, Michael, who was a police officer, a soldier, and a loving dad. He lived 40 years as a man, and now is transitioning from male to female. We're going to treat today's topic with dignity and respect, and we're going to look at the impact that it has on the family members when someone makes this choice. Now, Christina's dad told her that he now wants to be called Michaela or Kayla or Mom. Both daughters refused. Now, Christina's younger sister, Carly, feels her dad, Michael, is just dead.
For 40 years, I was Michael. Michael does not exist anymore. He's more of a memory now than anything else. When I look at these pictures, I'm looking at a relative. We're like brother, sister. Starting my young adult life, I did go and seek out every masculine, macho job that I could find. Police officer, deputy sheriff, private investigator, construction worker, 2 branches of U.S. military. I did study martial arts. I became a manly man, very macho, skirt chaser, womanizer. Today I am known as Caleb.
My dad was very manly. He would always take care of me.
My father had a very large collection of guns. He had an arsenal. He was the manliest of men.
I was married legally a total of 3 times. I have 3 children, Christina, 21, Kevin, 18, and Carly, 13. Since my gender, I just changed. I don't have a relationship currently with my children. I revealed my new identity basically by allowing them to slowly watch it happen.
When my dad told me that he was going to live his life as a woman, it was on my 12th birthday. He called me on the phone and told me that I could either call him Mom or Aunt Kayla. I could not call him Daddy. I was in tears about it.
My father came to me to introduce himself to me as Michaela, the woman. My father was dressed in black lace, makeup, earrings, and very tight blue jeans with heels. I was very shocked.
I never had an opportunity to sit down and discuss much of it with any of them. It's devastating. The last time I saw my oldest daughter, Chrissy, was about 2 years ago. We live fairly close. She's 2 or 3 miles away. I've seen my youngest daughter, Carly, 3 times over the course of 2 or 3 months. I would love to rekindle a relationship with my daughters if that is what they want.
The thought of him being a woman just tears me apart. I wish my dad would just be a man.
It still gets to me. It definitely still gets to me. We're supposed to always have our dad. He took that away. He's being very selfish.
Kayla says that she's never had the opportunity to sit down and explain this whole concept of living as a woman. Michael, now known as Kayla, wants the family to know why Michael is dead.
When I was a man, I was very heavy, very robust. And now as a woman, I am shorter, slighter of stature, long hair. It's a very feminine person now. The change in my identity was sort of a gradual thing, and the children became aware of it. I let my hair grow out. I became more feminine looking in the face. I have always been hippie. I do take hormones every day. I was beginning to develop breast tissue. My voice changed, it's softer. The pitch is maybe a little higher. I am mostly complete as a female. I just simply need the sex change operation itself. When I was 11 or 12 years of age, I deal that I was a female trapped in a male body. When I was in my teen years, I would buy different articles of female clothing. It could range from dresses to undergarments. I never would wear the clothing out in public. I would realize it was socially unacceptable, and I would throw them away only to buy them again later on. At the time, I didn't really understand what was going on, but I knew I could not stop it. 16 years of age, I just got so disgusted with the way things were, I just shelved it, and it stayed in the back of my mind for quite a number of years. The turning point for me was when my children were finally old enough to move on with their lives, and I felt like that was the time where I could move on with mine and go ahead and transform. I've been asked if I've made the wrong choice in terms of becoming a woman, and I like to just say that it's never been a choice. I was always meant to be a woman.
Well, joining me now is Kayla, formerly known as Michael, and his ex, Jennifer, the mother of his 13-year-old daughter, Carly. Now, in the audience is Cindy, also an ex, actually an ex-wife, and the mother of his 21-year-old daughter, Christina. And I certainly don't mean to be offensive or indelicate with pronouns of he or she or whatever. Legally, you're still a man.
Legally.
And legally, your name is still Michael.
Right.
But you do plan to have the operation.
Oh, absolutely.
To remove the male genitalia.
Right.
Okay. Now, what all have you done so far? Hormone treatments?
Basically, it's just been hormonal treatments. Okay. I haven't had any surgical enhancement of any type.
What inside you said this is the right thing to do?
It was just a thing over time. I don't really view it as really a choice. And if you just intend to continue to survive and live, you have to go with it.
So you believe that you are hardwired to be a woman in your brain, that this isn't a choice for you, but something that you were predisposed as a woman, but you're in a man's body.
Right, that's exactly what I believe.
And you pushed this back when you were in the military, when you were a policeman, when you went through all the macho type things that you've been doing. You just kind of pushed this back.
I think that was a way of pushing it back.
Has this been a shock to you? Did you see this coming in any way?
I did not see it coming in any way. It was a total shock.
Okay. And it's been a shock to your daughter?
devastating shock.
Have you maintained your responsibilities as a father in life and to family?
We've gone about a 2-year time frame now where we haven't had a whole lot of a relationship between myself and the kids. Primarily, I felt like that's what they wanted, so I was giving them the time. I'm sure I went about it totally wrong, but I was trying to give them the time to cope.
Do you feel like the relationships have been honored and maintained?
No, I don't. It's child support for one thing. The money that could have come for Carly has gone towards maybe more feminization.
You announced this to your oldest daughter showing up at work. In the tape piece, she said you showed up at work to reveal this to her in black lace and blue jeans.
It wasn't a surprise visit. She knew that this was beginning to take place, and I just wanted to come by and see her. And, you know, it didn't go well, so I left.
Well, was that a good idea?
I don't know that it was.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to get to, because you have to look at the impact on others and not just your own personal priorities and agendas along the way.
This is something very hard to go through mentally and emotionally, and I admit that, you know, a lot of things I've done has probably been the wrong things. You know, not being a professional such as yourself, I have no idea really how to handle it. You know, I'm not trying to cop out. I just really didn't know how to handle it any better than I have. I just let them watch things gradually change about me, because they were changing really before I ever took any hormones. They were beginning to change on their own.
Okay, next, we'll find out from 21-year-old Christina why it feels like her dad has been killed when we come back.
I am very embarrassed to know that he carries my last name and that his blood is running through my veins. My father, in my mind, was murdered by Michaela.
Right now, we are looking into a very complex and dramatic story, because it involves dramatic change about a father who has lost contact with his children. Now, Michael made the decision to transition from a man to a woman, and in so doing, leaving 2 young daughters angry, lost, and confused. Now, these girls say they have no relationship with their father, because he says, Dad's gone. You can't have a relationship with Dad because he's gone, and now it's Michaela. Take a look.
It's been a very traumatizing year for me.
My dad was my very best friend. I was like a daddy's girl.
I am very embarrassed to know that he carries my last name and that his blood is running through my veins.
His transformation tore me up inside.
Up until the point of my transformation, my youngest daughter Carly and I had a very good relationship, and now she just won't speak to me.
I think Michael was Carly's hero. The first time Carly saw her dad as a woman, she felt uneasy. I know she was hurt. I'm sure that she was thinking, I've lost my daddy forever.
I do miss having a relationship with my daughter, Christina.
As Christina's mom, I feel anger. This change has really devastated her.
I will never accept my father as a woman.
Christina went through shock, denial, grief, sadness, anger. She cannot accept him the way he is now.
My father, in my mind, was murdered by Michaela.
When people ask me how my dad died, I tell them he didn't physically die, he just transformed.
I told Michael that Carly wants to talk to her daddy, and he said, well, that's not ever gonna happen.
When he says that, I think of him as a jerk.
I was very mad. I told my father that selfish people tell their children to call them mother to explore another gender.
I feel angry because he should be there for them.
My dad did tell me that we were being selfish because we would not accept him the way he is. He was the one that was being selfish for not thinking of his children first.
Carly has broken down a few times.
I just remember all the times we had, and I'm so mad that he took those away. He had no right to do this to us. I can never forgive him.
We just heard Christina say that she feels like Michaela murdered her dad. She hasn't seen her dad since he's made a lot of changes. The last time she did, he looked like this. The hair's starting at that point, but you had not done a lot of the hormonal therapies and things of that nature. Okay, Christina, will you come out? Join us, please. Hello. How you doing? Have a seat right here. You have not been together for how long? In the same space, together for how long?
A little over a year.
Would you recognize this person on the street?
No.
What's your reaction as you sit here now?
It's just nasty. It's just gross.
Is it because of what you see, or is it because of what has happened or not happened? What is it that is gross to you?
The fact that this is my father. This was my best friend.
Is there anything that you want to say?
Are you happy?
Not totally. I'm happier.
You're happier now than you were with me?
That's not what it was about, Christy.
You said you were happier.
No, I'm happier as a person. I'm certainly not happier about the distance between you and I. I never wanted that.
But that wasn't her question. Her question was, you're happier now in this state, in embracing this gender identification, than you were as a man, as a father, as a family man, a best friend in her life.
The only thing that I'm happier about is my own true identity. I certainly miss, the relationship that we had. I would love to have that back. This is just not something that I woke up one day and decided, hey, I think this would be fun to live on the other side. It's a lot more complicated than that. Certainly, I want you back in my life. There's no question about it.
You know how to get me back in your life. You don't.
I wish it was that easy.
It is that easy.
What would it take to get you back?
You gotta be my dad. You can't be this. This is not my dad. My dad is a man. My dad is a role model. My dad is there for his children. My dad is fun and fun-loving and my best friend.
You have burned bridges, have you not? Have you not said, you'll never speak to your dad again? That's over, that's gone, that's done. I'm not that person anymore. You may be different to you, but you are her father. And you have just said, because I want to change, then I put up a stop sign, that's over, it's done, your father's dead, gone, it's not going to happen anymore. I mean, that seems to me to be incredibly self-absorbed, incredibly one-sided, and incredibly insensitive. Do you know why I'm saying that? I mean, look at the pain in your daughter's eyes.
Okay. First off, I never wanted any of the relationship at all to change. That's not at all what I meant.
You told me to call you Mom.
No, I told you
That's
not.
completely changing the relationship.
I told you not to call me Dad out in public because obviously, who would understand that,
Me?
Okay. There
Damn
you go.
good answer. This can get better if you'll just, you need to hear this. There is another little girl hurting in all of this. One of the things you said was you waited until they were grown up. They were, in your words, quote, adults. She was 12. We're going to meet her when we come back.
Every little girl dreams of her wedding day. I always imagine my dad to walk me down the aisle. My dad has died. He cannot walk me down the aisle.
I always imagined that it would be my father to walk me down the aisle when I got married. I do need a father figure in my life.
I still miss him as a father. What makes me cry about it is knowing that I'll never have my dad back.
If I had a chance to be a parent to my children now, I would be a very nurturing, loving parent. As a dad, I was fairly detached. The old me would have beat up a sofa and maybe knocked holes in walls. The maternal female, Kayla, is a crybaby, not having a relationship with children. That certainly put me in tears several times. I think I do feel deeper for the children now than at any other time.
Michael has been living his life as a woman for more than 2 years now. He is asked to be addressed as Kayla today. His 13-year-old daughter, Carly, is understandably very, very confused about what is going on. In fact, her older sister, Christina, wrote in because she was so concerned about how her sister, Carly, was going to handle her father's new identity. And I'm glad you did write in, and I think it's a good thing to have this dialogue. Let's bring out Carly and have her join us. Hey, girl. How are you? Now, you said that when you came out here, you didn't know if you could even look at the person that was your father and a man. Can you look at this person? Tell me what's in your mind about that right now.
I can't even see my father.
How do you feel about what's gone on here? I mean, this has got to be terribly confusing to you.
It is. Like, I don't even have a dad now. I'm furious. I have, like, mixed emotions. Like, furious, and I'm, like, upset and confused. Like, he's, like, ruined my life because I don't have a father.
You're afraid she's bottling this up and it's gonna blow.
Yeah, very much. She does not need to just keep this inside. It's not healthy.
You're doing the same thing, aren't you?
I talk to people about it, not Carly, because I have to be strong for Carly. I have to be her big sister. I can't be a victim. She's the victim. I can't be a victim to her.
They describe themselves as being victimized by what you are doing. How do you feel about that?
I feel like they are victimized to a degree, but they're not the only victim. They're really not.
Who else is a victim?
I'm a victim.
How are you a victim?
You think this is easy going through this?
You think it's easy seeing you like this?
I'm sure it's not. I mean, I understand what you girls are saying, but this is not a choice for me.
I don't think you quite do.
Well, I understand what you think.
Give it a voice. Make it understood. I mean, say what it is that your father doesn't get.
If you truly thought or believed that we were the victims, you would take us out of that situation because you're causing us to be victims. We are victims because of you.
Okay. How would you have me take you out of it?
Be your father. How else?
Okay, when you say be your father, you're talking about turn back physically into the person that you knew before.
Are you not physically the person that I knew before?
I doubt it.
You have blonde hair and you're wearing makeup and women's
Okay,
clothing,
you want me to go back to living as a man to make you feel better?
Yep.
That's not going to happen. It can't happen.
Why?
Because it's not in here mentally.
So you are...
You think I didn't just wake up one day and say, I think I want to see what women live like. That's not what happened.
That's what you're
Not
doing.
at all what happened.
You are not a woman. You have man parts. You were born a man. You have children. You know you.
Do I? Okay.
That's a good point. You know what?
Right.
Do you really have any children?
Well, what did you mean when you said do I?
They don't want any part of me. So that's what I mean by it.
You haven't tried to contact me in over a year.
Neither have you.
Why would I want to contact you?
Exactly.
I'm your child. I am your daughter. I'm your eldest daughter.
It's my responsibility to always contact you.
You're my father.
Is that right?
You're supposed to be the role model here.
I'm not a psychologist, but it's a two-way street.
Why would I contact someone who...
Yeah, but you put up a huge detour sign on that street. You really did. And so it's harder for them to know how to approach you. It's harder for them to know how to come at you. It's harder for them to know, I mean, how do you have to understand this is very difficult for them to relate to. What you want them to understand is that this isn't a choice for you.
Right. That's what I
That
want
you
them to
have
understand.
denied, your position is that you have been denying who you were anatomically born to be from a very early age, and that you tried mightily to do that, correct?
I tried my best to live the societal rules of who I should be because of my physicality. I just got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore.
Okay, but even if people think what you're doing is wrong or right or whatever, all of the labels that people can put on things that they don't understand,
right.
Forget whether it's the right or wrong thing to do. There is a right and wrong way to do it, okay? And that's what I'm talking about. Because you haven't heard, and I suspect nor have you felt, one iota of judgment from me about this situation with you individually, correct?
Correct.
Is there a right way to do this, even if you think it's the wrong thing to do? We're going to talk about that when we come back, and we're going to hear more from this precious child. We'll be right back. Looking into a very complex and dramatic story, it's made a transition from a man to a woman, a transgender, leaving two young daughters angry, lost, and confused. Now, Carly's mother, Jennifer, says that Michael used to be good about paying child support, but now she says that she's lucky to get anything at all.
Carly was 5 years old when he started paying child support.
I do currently pay Jim for child support. I am lacking right now because of a lot of financial issues that have hit me recently.
Michael is approximately $1,400 behind on his child support. My child support payments did decrease when Michael started going through the transformation.
He will not pay child support so he can have his hormones and his breast augmentation. He's so selfish.
When I see Michael, he has his nails done. He has his hair colored and cut, usually looking really good. I wonder how he pays for that and can't pay me.
He is definitely sacrificing his responsibility to Carly to have what he wants.
As soon as I can find some way of affording it, I definitely am going to undergo the surgical change to female. It's very expensive. It may cost anywhere from $25,000 to up to $50,000.
It infuriates me that all of his money seems to be going to his appearance instead of my child support.
Okay, respond to that.
I owe the money. There's nothing I can really respond to. I've lost, I run a business that's went downhill. I've lost contracts. The money that I once had is just not there now. I don't go out and have my nails done every single day of my life. I don't have my hair done every day, you know.
Well, I think anybody's saying you're getting it done every day. I think the point is...
portrayed that, you know, I just live this
You're
lavish...
done right now. Your roots are done and your nails are done. Right now. You cannot deny that. I'm sure you have a pedicure.
I'm sure you're wrong.
Yeah.
I want to introduce Dr. Frank Lawless. Dr. Lawless is chairman of our advisory committee here at the Dr. Phil Show. In fact, been involved in the evaluation and transition of many transgender cases, correct?
That's correct.
If it's done responsibly, there's always a complete evaluation and diagnostics done to determine whether or not the person is ready for it.
That's correct, because what's going to happen is that, as we've seen here, relationships are going to change, jobs are going to change, the whole world is going to change for these people. And if they don't know how to do it, then they're going to basically be suffering, and everybody around them is going to be suffering.
And do you think that's what's going on now? Do you think you're suffering and they're suffering?
Certainly.
You seem very defensive to the point of being accusatory about virtually everything that's being said. And I'm trying to keep this really balanced here, but you say, well, that depicts me wrong. Well, that's not right. Well, that's not the whole story. This is all about them, so let them say whatever they want to say. If there's something that we're missing, enlighten us, because I think they want to know. If there's something they misunderstand, or something I misunderstand, then tell me what it is. Because my view is you're doing this wrong.
He doesn't even care. Like, he doesn't care.
You think he doesn't care? Or what? What would he do if he did?
Maybe pay his child support. He'd have a look on his face that made him look like he cared. That's pretty blank to me.
Because see, you can, it's kind of like there's the elephant in the living room here, where it's, all right, we're talking about a transgender situation, dramatic, sensational, but take that out of it. Whether you went and got married to somebody else, whether you had an affair, whether you just left and went to live somewhere else, do another job or whatever, historically you have responsibilities. You have commitments. There are things that you knowingly, voluntarily chose in your life. You say you didn't choose this, but you chose to be a father. You chose to take on these responsibilities. And while you may change gender, and you call them selfish, I don't get that. I don't get that.
Okay. I can't make them understand.
You can try.
Can you make anyone understand?
I can't talk to them to make them even try to understand. They want nothing to do with me. Do you understand that?
I want my dad. I don't want some chick that wants to be my friend or my aunt.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you get very defensive and off-put by that, but the point is, this isn't all about you. This isn't all about you. What you can say is, look, I'm sorry, I can't give you that, but you could help her with it. But instead, you're just like, okay, fine, whatever. If she's hurting, you should be healing. If she's confused, you should be clarifying. If she's in need, you should be providing. Because you're her father. Now, you can say you don't like that adjective, but you are a responsible adult in her life that is responsible for her being in this world. Call it mother, father, somewhere in between. The responsibility is very clear. Well, you know, we're going to take a break. Christina wrote something that I think is very poignant. I think you need to hear when we come back.
Me and my dad always watch the movie White Chicks together. My dad told me, Carly, the reason we watch White Chicks so much is so that I can slowly tell you about my transformation. When my dad told me that, I was in complete and utter shock. I didn't know what to think.
The only real sense I can make of it is that all his life he's never really belonged. He was in the military and he had to get out. He was a cop and he had to get out. He didn't belong in a marriage. I guess he doesn't belong as a dad. He only belongs as a woman.
Christina wrote a poem of her father to express her emotions about this transformation. He's never seen it. Would you share that with us at this point?
It's so hard now to think of you, to remember all we used to do, all the jokes and fun we had, your encouragement when I was sad. I miss the look on your face when I'd arrive at your place. I miss you more than you'll ever know. It's sad, I know. You'll never know. You'll never know how much I cry. Or all the tears I hold inside. I missed you through my surgery. That just added to my misery. You don't call her right by your choice. You don't want to hear my voice. When I found out you lied to me, said time would make it easy. You won't be there on my wedding day because you'd rather live your way. Oh, Lord. I'll have to fake that nervous smile when a stranger walks me down the aisle. I'm too weak to be strong. I can't believe I've gone this long. One day my kids will question me about what happened to my daddy. They'll be in my husband's lap. I'll tell them not to think of that. Just be thankful they have one who cares and who is every day always theirs. We will always have our family, and they will always have their daddy.
Thoughts, reactions?
It's an emotional poem. I mean, you're right, I've never heard it. I don't know what to say about it.
I am shocked that a parent could hear that child read those words written from her heart, and you sit there stone-faced like you're waiting for a...
This is not an easy thing to live through, and it is a big pain to me not having the relationship. I felt like it was gone and we would never have it back. So I've had to try to learn to cope with it.
She said, I will have to fake that nervous smile when a stranger walks me down the aisle.
I heard it.
What does that mean to you?
Well, obviously, traditionally, a father walks a daughter down the aisle, and I'm not physically the father, so...
You're not mentally a father.
I'm not physically a father,
You're
and that's the biggest thing to you.
There's nothing about you that's a father.
Well, you're welcome to your opinion. I didn't want a separation from you guys.
I believe a lot of other people have the same opinion.
Okay.
I know she does.
Well, can Christina and Carly's relationship with their dad be salvaged? And does he really even want that? Because I hear a lot of sniping going on and zero compassion or understanding. Maybe I'm missing it. We'll be right back.
I own a security agency now. I go out and patrol neighborhoods looking to deter any sort of criminal activity, vandalism, things of that nature. When I was a male officer, I was intimidating and had to fight. Now when I'm in uniform, guys would find it disrespectful to try to beat up on me. So it's an entirely different ballgame. I don't have to really get physical because they don't take it to that level.
Well, I'm talking to a family who, according to 13-year-old Carly, has been torn apart. Do you understand the pain that they're experiencing? You don't show any compassion for it. You show defensiveness about it. You're upset. You seem upset with them because they're upset with you, rather than saying, huge change. Your dad becomes a woman. Pass the syrup. That, I mean, you know, you seem to not. But when we say that, when we talk about their pain, you get defensive about it. You haven't written to them. You haven't called them. You haven't reached out to them. You said, two-way street. They didn't reach out to me. They didn't make this change. You did. So the burden becomes yours. Plus, you're the adult. You're talking to a 13-year-old child here. You said this is overwhelming for you? Try it at 12. I mean, what can you offer? What can you offer them?
Like I say, I would like to reopen the channels of communication with them and start talking with them and spending time with them and try to understand things together. I just don't know that's what they want.
But you'll never get there getting angry and defensive every time they're critical. And let me tell you, their criticisms, in my opinion, are legitimate. They're very legitimate. And I say that Not because of this transitioning that you're doing, but because of the fact that you have dropped the ball relationship-wise. You've become very self-absorbed on this one thing that's going to happen. And when you finish that transformation, you know what's going to happen? You're going to lift your head up and look around and see that everybody in your life, everything that you've loved, is gone. Not because of what you did, but because of the way you've done it.
The only ones that are gone are my kids.
I don't think you don't know how. I really and truly, with all my heart, think that you don't want to.
I want to.
I don't think you do.
You're wrong.
If you wanted to, I would have heard from you over the past year and a half.
What you're saying to me, I'm telling you right now, I love you girls to pieces, and I want relationships with you.
Everyone who loves me talks to me, comes and sees me.
We're talking now. We're talking right now.
Okay, they might have rebuffed you, but these girls walked out. You haven't seen them in 2 years. You're like, it could have been 2 audience members that came up here and sat down for all of your expression, emotion, initiation, anything. Even if you thought it was not welcome and would be rebuffed, they'd have to tell me no. Do you not ache to hug this child?
I just don't feel like they would welcome it. I'm just trying to be as respectful as I can of the girls. Certainly, I would love to hug both of them.
I've seen no emotion in your voice, in your face, in your demeanor. If you don't know, there are tremendous resources to support you in this, and we will guide you in that direction. But I can tell you, you are not navigating this terrain in a constructive way, in my view. And I am sorry for that. We'll be right back. I want to thank all my guests today. I mean, y'all that watch the show know how important I believe family is. And I think no matter what happens in your life, your role as parent changes. You always have those responsibilities. Go to drphil.com. I want to have a lot there about family, a lot about being a parent. See you next time. Thank you.